Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Romance Masterpiece Theater. My name is Teresa Medeiros, and I'm the author of The Devil Wears Plaid, the book we're going to be reading from today. In this scene, our intrepid heroine, Emmeline Marlowe, is about to make a break for it to escape from the rugged Highlander, Jamie Sinclair, who has just kidnapped her from her own wedding. Emma stole a glance behind her, wondering if he would even notice if she whirled around and sprinted for freedom. "I wouldn't try it if I were you," he said evenly. Startled, Emma whipped her head back around. Sinclair was running a brush down the horse's quivering flanks, all of his attention seemingly focused on his task. It was as if he had divined her thoughts and the direction of her glance with some sense deeper than hearing or sight. She still felt a satisfying twinge of triumph. At least she proved he wasn't as oblivious to her presence as he was pretending to be. "As your hostage, isn't that what I'm obligated to do?" She struggled to keep the quaver out of her voice. "Try to escape your villainous clutches?" He shrugged one powerful shoulder. "Why squander your efforts, lass? You wouldn't get 10 paces before I stopped you." "How? By shooting me in the back?" He finally did look at her then, the slight arch of one sable eyebrow warning her she had only succeeded in amusing him. "That would be a waste of perfectly good gunpowder, wouldn't it? Especially when you're worth far more to me alive than dead." She sniffed. "A touching sentiment, sir, but I'm afraid you've tipped your hand. If I know you have no intention of killing me, then what's to stop me from running?" He came around the horse then, his strides as even and resolute as his voice. "Me." Now that Emma had succeeded in gaining his full attention, she had reason to regret her brashness. Her heart began to pound wildly in her chest as she scrambled backward, knowing even as she did so that she had no hope of eluding him. He was everything her bridegroom was not: young, muscular, virile, and dangerous. He might not have any intention of killing her, but there were other things he could do to her that many might consider even worse, much worse. Her back came up against the knotty trunk of a pine, leaving her with no choice but to stand her ground before his relentless approach. The air must be even thinner up here on the bluff. The nearer he drew, the more breathless she became. By the time his shadow fell over her, blocking out the milky daylight, she was positively lightheaded. She had believed those light green eyes of his with their thick fringe of sable lashes to be his most striking feature, but at this proximity she could no longer be sure. He might be nothing more than a common brigand, but he had the high, broad cheekbones of a king. His nose was as straight as a blade, with nostrils that flared slightly over a pair of full, almost sinfully sensual lips. The faintest hint of a cleft shadowed his chin. He planted both hands on the tree trunk above her head, leaning so close to her she could feel the heat radiating from every muscled inch of him. Both her fear and her lightheadedness deepened a dangerous degree as she breathed in the warm masculine musk of his scent. Despite its rough edge, his voice was as soft as crushed velvet against the delicate cup of her ear. Its message was not intended for his men's ears, but for her and her alone. "If you run, I'll have to put my hands on you. So unless you think you'd enjoy that, and you just might, you'll want to think twice about trying to escape."